All right, we should be live now. What's going on, guys? Happy Friday. Hope you guys all had a good night yesterday. Yesterday went really well for me, and a lot of viewers had a fellow DK take down a lot of tournaments. I won a good amount of money. Had a lot of other people come close too. So yeah, all in all, it was a really good night last night, and let's see if we can keep it going for tonight. So let's talk about what we know so far. DJ Augustine available to play. Not really big news. Alfred Payton ruled out. I mean, Ntilikina starting for him. I still don't feel great about that. Let's see. Some of this stuff is not for today, so bear with me. Not a whole lot of news, to be honest, that we're waiting for. Markieff Morris signing with the Lakers. Ntilikina starting for Alf Payton. MKG available to play available to make the Mavs debut. Don't know if he's going to play much though. So yeah, really, there's not a whole lot of great or of news we're really waiting for. So let's take a look at some numbers here before we get to players and their prices. We have the Cavs Wizards game sitting at 236 right now. The Wizards are 7-point favorites. Mavs Magic sitting at 221. The Mavs, I should say, are 4.5-point favorites. The Pacers and the Knicks sitting at 213. The Pacers are 7-point favorites. Suns Raptors is 229.5 over under. The Raptors are favored by 8. I guess we're still waiting on DeAndre Ayton news. Unless I missed that, I believe he's still questionable. We have the Celtics and the Timberwolves, 227 over under. The Celtics are 8-point favorites. We have the Nuggets and the Thunder, 216 over under. The Thunder are 1.5-point favorites. Spurs Jazz, 224. The Jazz are 7-point favorites. And the two late night hammers are Memphis and the Lakers, stand at 233.5. Lakers are 11-point favorites. Pelicans Blazers, by far my favorite game to target here, 238.5 over under with the Pelicans 5.5-point favorites. So I'll talk about it a little bit more in detail once I go team by team, but really, I think you can condense this 9-game slate to about 3 games. I think Ibaka in the Raptors-Suns game really stands out. I really like a lot of Boston guys. I think some of those Minnesota Valley guys are certainly doable. And then the Pelicans and Blazers game. So really, I think you can just avoid all those other games and just go Pelicans, Blazers, Celtics, Timberwolves, and then Serge Ibaka. That's what I'm doing right now. All right, let's go team by team here. We got 9 games to talk about. Started a little bit earlier this time, so I didn't have to rush because once that Christian Wood news came out yesterday, I kind of had to scramble a little bit, had to get him out of my lineup, had to try to keep going because I was running short on time. So tried to start a little bit earlier today. We'll start with the Cavs here. Again, I kind of went over with my video, which is your guess is as good as mine right now with what these minutes are going to be like for these bigs. Drummond, that last game, it was a close game against Atlanta. Tristan Thompson ended up playing more minutes than him. I have no idea what they're going to do with those two, with Love and Larry Nance. It's a good matchup. If you have a good feeling on what these guys' minutes are going to be like, if you're confident that Drummond's going to play 30-plus minutes, if you're confident Kevin Love's going to play 30-plus minutes, you can target one of them. I don't have a good feel on it, and that's why I'm going to avoid it. Now, again, one of these guys can certainly get you there. They can certainly break the slate in a matchup like this against Washington. I just don't, for a single entry guy like myself, I don't think I want to take a shot here. Now, if you're making multiple lineups, sure, you can take a shot on one of those guys, but nothing I can feel confident about just because I don't know what these minutes are going to be like for those guys in the front court. The guard situation, pretty simple as well. Like Colin Sexton at 6.3. Why would you play him when you can get to CJ McCollum for a little bit more? You can get to Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart for less. Doesn't make sense, in my opinion. It really doesn't. So that really does it for Cleveland for me. I don't have a whole lot of interest in this team. If you want to take a shot on one of those bigs and hope they get the minutes, don't hate that idea, but nothing I can really feel confident about for Cleveland here. Again, it is a good matchup. I don't have a good feel. Now, if I knew Drummond was going to play 35 minutes, he would be one of my favorite plays at that price. We saw it last game. Drummond was playing well, but Thompson played really well, and they extended Thompson. So Yeah, it's kind of a stay away from me if you're playing single entries. If you're making multiple lineups, sure, you can take a shot on one of those guys. But that really wraps up for Cleveland. Let's talk about Washington. Washington's the team besides Beal I have pretty much no interest in. It's a good spot, but I mean, they just have a lot of bigs healthy now. Thomas Bryant and Mahimi are playing. They have Rui and Bertans. They have Mo Wagner. I don't want to take a shot on any of those front court guys. I mean, I guess Ish Smith is okay value here, 4.8. He's fine if you get to him if you need a cheaper guard. But Beal's the guy that I have the most interest in at 9.4. Right now, he's more of a contrarian play for tournaments. I don't think I get there for cash. Again, I kind of want over my cash game strategy. I think it's Ibaka. I think it's the Boston guys. And I think it's New Orleans and Portland. If I was making a cash game lineup, I think that's the route I would go for this slate. Beal is the guy that is in play for GPPs for sure. He's going to get about 35 or so minutes. Again, we know he's going to shoot the ball a ton. It's a good matchup. So I don't have an issue with Beal. I just don't think he really fits the cash game build. So I have interest in Beal for GPPs. He's probably my favorite play in this game just because the minutes are pretty locked in. The shot attempts are locked in. So of everyone in this Cleveland-Washington game, I think Beal is my favorite play there at 9.4, but more of just a GPP play right now. Let me refresh. I'm going to try to get a habit of just always refreshing Fantasy Labs every few minutes so I don't miss anything. Because when I do this breakdown right now, I don't look at the chat. So Kevin Love will play. Okay, we expected that. Let's move on to Dallas and Orlando. Let's see. On the Dallas side, it's Porzingis for me, and that's it. I have no interest in anyone else. Or not Porzingis, Doncic, sorry. Luka Doncic is the only player I have interest in at 10.6, and that's it. He's a contrarian spend up for the matchup. I do like the price. Again, Orlando has been solid defensively. They're not like the best defensive team, but they're not a bad defensive team either. So the matchup's just not really super appealing, but the price tag is at 10.6. He only played 31 minutes in that first game back from about a 2-week absence. So I do have some interest in Luka, definitely for tournaments. I just don't really think he fits the cash game build. So again, him, Brad Beal, I like a good amount. I think there's more contrarian options on this slate. And right now there's not a whole lot of great value, like Simons possibly if he starts, or those Minnesota guys. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of like standout value plays. So I think it would make it a little bit tricky to get Luka in. So that's why I think he's more just a contrarian GBP option at that price. Orlando is basically the same thing as Dallas. It's Vucevic for me, and that's it at 8.8. He's the guy that's gotten over 50 fantasy points the last 3 games, so he certainly has upside. I'm not really scared of if they throw Porzingis or Maxi Kleber on him. Whoever they throw on him, Vucevic should be able to have his way there. So, I do like Vucevic's spend up. Again, I think he's just more of a contrarian option on this slate for GPPs, right? I talked about my cash game strategy already, or single entry, GPP, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Vucevic is a guy that I do like. He's in the same territory as Beal and Doncic. I like him. I like their upside for GPPs. I don't think they fit the ideal cash game build for today. Everyone else, though, is stay away for cash and GPPs. Like Aaron Gordon's been great. I'm not paying 7.3K for him. He can still get you there for sure. There's just much better options at his price. Brandon Ingram, the Boston Wings. Doesn't make sense to get to Aaron Gordon, in my opinion. So that's really it for Orlando. It's Vucevic and it's Luka Doncic in this game, and that's about the only interest I have. Phoenix, I believe, again, we don't have DeAndre Ayton news yet. We should get it somewhat soon. Ooh, that is big news. Naz Reid will start ahead of James Johnson. Okay. That makes me like Naz Reid more. Let's see. What's your core? I'll give my core here in a bit. I usually give it at the end. But, okay, we'll get to that game in a bit. But that makes me like Naz Reid more because Naz Reid was a guy that just wasn't playing huge minutes. But if he's going to start, I think we can project him for at least 20 minutes. So yeah, now I do like Naz Reid a good amount as value play. We'll talk about that more in a bit. We're still waiting on the status of DeAndre Ayton. Monty Williams said he's hopeful he plays. If DeAndre Ayton plays, don't know if I get him at that price against Toronto. If he misses though, then I would have interest in Devin Booker. Still though, I think he'd be more contrarian, more GPP play just because of all those guys I've already talked about. With the Boston guys, the Blazers and Pelicans game. Devin Booker is a guy that has huge upside, especially if Ayton goes. I would like him a good amount for GPPs if Ayton is not available. You can look to Oubre or Rubio, but not super excited about them. We have Sarge and Baines. Both are going to be back. We don't know anything about a minutes limit. So, if Ayton gets ruled out and they start Aaron Baines, I think he's the guy you can look to at min price. So we got to keep an eye on that for sure. But that's really it for Phoenix. Again, if Ayton plays, I don't think I get to him. But if he misses, Booker would probably be my favorite play there. And then whoever starts for him, I guess I could still start Cheek Diallo. I wouldn't have interest in him at that price with Baines and Sarge coming back. If I start Baines at the 5, I would have some interest, but he would probably be on a minutes limit. So, hopefully we get that news somewhat soon for Phoenix. Let's talk about Toronto. So one of my favorite plays of the day is Serge Ibaka at 6.5. Now, I've heard his name talked about a lot today, so I think he is going to be pretty popular. But this is just too cheap for a price tag at 6.5. I think he actually gets a boost if DeAndre Ayton does play, because if Ayton misses, Phoenix can run small ball, which would concern me slightly with Ibaka's minutes. Like there's always an off chance that they could just bench him for the fourth quarter, run Siakam at the 5 if Phoenix runs more small ball. So that is a slight concern. But if Ayton plays, I really think Ibaka probably gets about 35 minutes. At that price, in one of the better matchups, he's one of my favorite plays. He is going to be in my core today. I love Ibaka. He's going to be popular. I'm eating the chalk in him. I'm playing him at that price point. I also have a good amount of interest in the Toronto guards with Lowry and Fred VanVleet. But I'm going to prefer Ibaka if you're going to make me pick just one of these Toronto guys. Between Lowry and Fred VanVleet, I think I would slightly lean towards Lowry, but it's close. He's flashed a little bit more upside recently. Siakam, more of just a GBP play at that price point. Again, I prefer the Boston Wings to Siakam at a similar price. And then the value guys, I don't think I get to them. Still no Marc Gasol, obviously that's why I like Ibaka. I think, if you want to take a shot on either RHJ or Boucher, fine. More just a dart throw, though, because Boucher's minutes have been down. RHJ has only been getting around 15 or so minutes. So that basically wraps up for Toronto. Ibaka, one of my favorite plays of the day there at that price, and I do have some interest in the guards. I think I would slightly lean towards Lowry over Fred VanVleet. Don't mind Siakam either, but I think I prefer the Boston Wings to him. Let's see if we got any more news. Ayton is available, Sarge available, Baines available. Okay, and Ayton's playing. So those two value bigs with Baines and Sarge, I don't think I get to them with Ayton playing. Ayton's going to play pretty big minutes in my opinion if he's starting. We've seen him play, about 35 or so. Now it's kind of, Booker's still okay, but probably a little bit less high in him now. And again, I really like Ibaka with Ayton playing. I think he's going to play big minutes in that one. I really like his price tag. Let's move on to the Pacers and the Knicks. This one should be pretty quick. Not a whole lot I like here. Sabonis, obviously he's my boy, but I can't get to him at 9.6K. There's just a lot better plays. He's in that range, I guess, with those other spend ups that you can take a shot on for tournaments. Beal, Doncic, Vucevic. If you want to throw Sabonis in there, sure, but definitely can't go there for cash games. Brogdon and Oladipo, not for me. Brogdon, 6.6 seems priced about right. Oladipo's a little bit too pricey. I know he's off his minutes limit, but I need to see him have a good game before I can target him at this price point. So Pacers are basically a stay away. TJ Warren's available too. No one I really like here. That's basically it. This game is basically a full fade for me. Randall, if I was going to play someone on the Knicks, it would be Randall, but again, I like the Boston guys more. I like the Pelicans-Blazers game more. So Randall, don't think I get to him on this slate. Alfred Payton is out, so Ntilikina is going to start with him. For him, he's 3.1K. He is a value guy you can consider. I don't know what his minutes are going to be like, just because they have a lot of other guys they can use. They have Dennis Smith Jr. They could run, RJ Barrett a bit at the point. They have Wayne out. They have a bunch of guys they can throw minutes at. So sure, Ntilikina is a value play I think you can consider. He's a pretty low usage guy, but does have upside games in him. I think he is in play tonight, but I would much prefer a guy like Anthony Simons. If Anthony Simons is going to start, I think Simons would be a much safer play, in my opinion. Now, Simons is also going to be very, very popular, one of the more popular plays of the day. So if you want a pivot off of Simons, I think Ntilikina is your guy. Again, I would prefer Simons, but if Ntilikina gets 25-ish minutes, he can probably get you 15 to 25 fancy points. So my whole concern with him is just the minutes. I think with him starting, though, that he should get probably at least 20. Ntilikina is a guy I have some interest in. I would prefer Simons, though. Again, if you want to pivot off the high-owned Simons, you could go Ntilikina there as a pivot. But that's really it for New York. I don't think I have interest in anyone else. This game pretty unappealing for me. Now we get to some appealing games. Boston, Minnesota. Boston is probably my favorite team. Them or the Trailblazers to target tonight. I love Boston. No Kemba Walker is just huge, and it's one of the best matchups against Minnesota. So Tatum, Hayward, Brown, Smart. I really like all four. I don't think one play stands out more than the other. If you're going to make me pick just one or just two, I think it would be the cheaper guys like Brown and Smart. Now, I think Tatum is going to be the most popular play, and I have no issue with Jason Tatum at all. I think he's a really good play at that price. But if he's going to be the guy that garners all the ownership for Boston, I would probably rather pivot off of him to a guy like Hayward for $800 less, who I think has a good amount of upside as well, or just get down to Brown or Smart. So I really think on this slate for cash games, you probably play two of these Boston guys. Two at least, I think. They're that good of plays. Now, the concern is, it's still, I think Boston are still favored by like 8 points, 8.5. Minnesota, no cat. So there is still some blowout risk. You got to keep that in the back of your mind. This game could blow out. Minnesota is terrible. So that is still something you have to consider, but I'm willing to take that risk because of just the huge upside in a spot like this. So really, Smart, Brown, Hayward, Tatum, I love all four. I don't really have an issue. It's all about, what works with your lineup, right? So if Tatum fits in your lineup and Jaylen Brown do, then go with them. If you can't get to Tatum, I'm fine going with Hayward, Smart, or Brown. I think Smart is probably going to be the lowest owned of the four, but I like him. He is a guy that does have a lot of upside when Kemba is out. Now, there has been games where Kemba's been out. He started the point and he's busted before. So he is a little bit more risky, but he still has 40-plus fantasy point upside in a spot like this for running the point guard. Like I said, I like all those main four Boston guys. I think you probably get at least two in your lineup. Tice is okay at 4.7, but I guess it's close. I think I would prefer the Minnesota value at a similar price. A guy like Naz Reid starting, maybe Hernan Gomez. It's close. I think I would slightly prefer those Minnesota guys. Cantor is always viable for GPPs. I just have no idea what his minutes are going to be like. He could play 10 minutes. He could play 25. If you want to take a shot and hope he gets the higher end of the minutes, I have no issue with that because he is a guy that, he can put up 30-plus fantasy points in limited time. So I like Cantor for GPPs. I can't recommend it for cash because I have no idea what the minutes are going to be like for him. I don't think we have to go the value for Boston. Like Wanamaker probably gets 25 or so minutes. Don't think we have to do it, though, on this slate. And that's really it. So Boston is a team I am super high on. Them and the Trailblazers are my favorite teams to target tonight. I think you probably play at least two of those main four guys in your lineup for Boston. On the Minnesota side, there is a good amount to like here with no Karl-Anthony Towns. D'Angelo Russell as a contrarian option, I like a good amount. We know he's going to shoot the ball a ton. He shot the ball 23 times the last game with no Towns. Not really the best spot, but this is kind of the same scenario as Trae Young last night. Trae Young was a guy I liked a lot for GPPs, just didn't really fit the cash game build. And Trae Young is basically matchup proof. You could say the same for Russell. Like, he's going to shoot the ball a ton no matter what. So he's in that same category as Trae Young, as just I like him a lot for GPPs. I don't know if I get to him for cash games, but Russell is a guy that can put up 50-plus with no Karl-Anthony Towns for sure. Again, he's going to shoot the ball a ton. As far as the value plays go, now with Naz Reid starting, I think he is probably my favorite value play, just because, let's see if we got any more news. Just because he is a very productive guy when he gets minutes. Right, he got 22 minutes. The last game had 23 fantasy points. He's put up 28 and 14 minutes. He is pretty productive, right? 26 and 18 minutes. So if we can project, 20 to 25 minutes from Naz Reid, I like that a good amount. The concern is he is a guy that does get in some foul trouble, so that is a risk, right? 5 fouls in this game against Charlotte, 5 fouls there against Atlanta. So there is definitely some risk with that. So keep that in the back of your mind. I'm completely fine if you don't want to play him. I like his upside, though. If you want to pivot off of him, again, Hernan Gomez, I think, is probably the safer option. Like, if I was going to target one of these guys for cash games, I think it would be Hernan Gomez, just off those minutes last game, right? He played 38 minutes, shot the ball terribly, 5 of 18, still put up 37 fantasy points. So I think if you're going for safety with those value guys, I think it's either Hernan Gomez or Malik Beasley. I think those guys' minutes are pretty locked in. Beasley played 38, Hernan Gomez played 37. So I think both those guys probably get at least over 30. So if I was going to go for safety with these value, I think it would be Beasley or Hernan Gomez. They both still have upside too. And again, Naz Reid is a little bit more risky because even though he's starting, I still think there's a chance he could play under 20 minutes. There's always the foul trouble concerns. If you want a pivot, I think James Johnson's the direct pivot. I think he's to be lower owned due to Naz Reid starting, but he's still a guy that has upside when he gets minutes. I don't think I get to Okogie or Culver. So all in all, I think Minnesota is a pretty solid team to target. D'Angelo Russell for GPPs, Naz Reid, I think more for GPPs. I think the cash game plays would probably be Hernan Gomez and Beasley, just because I think their minutes are pretty solidified. But yeah, I think that does it for Minnesota. Let's move on to Denver OKC. This will be another one that'll be pretty quick. I think it's only Jokic and Murray that I have some interest, but it's very, very minimal in this slate, and they're just more contrarian. Jokic 9.8. We do have Plumlee coming back. We have Millsap obviously healthy. Michael Porter Jr. is now healthy. So Denver's basically a fully healthy team. I still think we probably get about 33 to 35 minutes from Jokic, but nothing I can be super, super excited about there. Jamal Murray has been playing big minutes as well, but again, they have everyone healthy now. Michael Porter Jr. back. They have Gary Harris healthy. Monte, they just have everyone healthy. Barton is questionable. I guess if he misses, that would be a little bit more usage to go around, but not a whole lot I like here in a pretty unappealing game. We have 216.5 over-under, so one of the lower over-unders of the day. On the OKC side, basically the same thing. If I was going to play one, probably would be SJ or Schroeder, but still, there's just much better plays in the slate. CJ at a similar price. The Boston guys, don't think we have to do it with any of these OKC guys. So yeah, that's pretty quick. Let's move on to San Antonio and Utah. On the San Antonio side, another one that will be pretty fast. I think it's only guy I have some interest in is DeRozan for his price. Tougher spot against the Jazz. He can still get you there for sure, but nothing I can really recommend with confidence for cash games. Again, Brandon Ingram at a similar price, or at the same price, I believe. I would much prefer Brandon Ingram. Much prefer the Boston guys. Much prefer CJ McCollum. So DeRozan is in play for GPPs, but not for cash games for me. And that's really it. I don't think we have to go with anyone else. On the Utah side, they're a little bit more interesting than San Antonio. Donovan Mitchell is a guy I think is going to be pretty popular at 6.9. I like him for sure. Again, if you're going to make me pick, though, I'm going to go CJ over him. I'm going to go those Boston guys over him. I'm going to go Brandon Ingram over Donovan Mitchell. So Donovan Mitchell is up there for sure. It's one of the top plays. I just think he ranks slightly behind those other guys. So yeah, like I said, right now, I think for me, it's Ibaka and then the Boston guys and then the Pelicans and Blazers game. If I was going to play someone outside of those games, I think it would be Donovan Mitchell here because of the price tag. No Mike Conley, good matchup. He's a guy that's going to be aggressive offensively. So I do like Mitchell a good amount. Currently don't have him in, but I am a little bit nervous of fading him for sure at this price at under 7K with no Conley. I'm not going to get to Gobert at that price. Not going to get to Bogdanovich. Not going to get to Clarkson at 5.4. Only other guy I think I would consider here is Joe Ingles at 4.7. He probably gets 32 to 33 minutes. He hasn't been great shooting the ball, but he's still getting the peripheral stats. And if he gets hot behind the three-point line, Joe Ingles can put up 35-plus fantasy points. So I think he's a pretty solid mid-tier play or cheaper value play. Royce O'Neal's a guy I've heard his name a decent amount. He's just such a low-usage guy. He's going to play probably 35 minutes, but there's a chance that you could get under 10 fantasy points in that time. Now, 3.3K is really, really cheap, and it opens up more to get, to plug him in your lineup. So I get it if you want to go there. I think I would prefer Simons if he starts. I think I would actually probably prefer Ntilikina too. Probably. I don't know. So yeah, Royce O'Neal is in that really, really cheap range of guys you can take a shot on, but I don't feel great about it. I think that does it for Utah. Let's talk about my favorite game of the night here by far. I know it's going to be super popular. Before I do that, let's refresh one more time. Any more news here? Doncic, Curry, Hardaway, Finney-Smith, Porzingis. So Porzingis starting at the 5. Mahimi starting. Okay, nothing really big there. First, let's talk about the Pelicans. So the Pelicans are a team that I have a good amount of interest in. Brandon Ingram, one of my favorite plays at that price. 6.8 is just too cheap. That last game only played 21 minutes due to the injury. Would not be super concerned about that. I think we probably get 35 or so minutes. This is one of the better matchups. Again, the highest over-under of the day. I really like Ingram. He's one of my favorite plays. It's really, really close with him and those Boston Wings. I rank them in the same territory. I love the Boston guys. I love Brandon Ingram. He is one of my favorite plays of the day. I do have some interest in Lonzo Ball and Drew Holiday as well at 6.9, 7.3. Those guys are certainly doable. I think I would slightly give the edge to Ingram. Now, I think Ingram's going to be the most popular of these 4 Pelicans guys for sure. So if you want to pivot off of the ownership and go Lonzo or Drew Holiday, I don't mind that. I also have a good amount of interest in Zion Williamson at 8K. Whether Portland throws Whiteside or Carmelo on him, either way, it's going to be a good spot for Zion. Those minutes have been slowly creeping up. I think we probably get 32, 33 minutes from him. Again, really, really good matchup. So I have a good amount of interest in Zion at that price. I think I'd rank him right now. Ingram 1, Zion 2, and then Drew and Lonzo 3. But I like all those main 4 guys. As far as Hart and JJ Redick, I'm not going to get to them with Ingram playing. Favors is okay. I think he's a guy that can get you, 30 plus in this spot, but he's not going to play more than like 24, 25 minutes. So he's probably going to play somewhere between 20 to 25. If he hits that higher end of the minutes, if he gets 25, I think he can get over 30. So Favors the guy that is in play. I think maybe I would only go there as part of a game stack though. And then let's talk about Portland. Obviously, this is going to be probably the chalkiest team of the day with no Damian Lillard. It's just I don't see a reason to fade CJ. I think the only really way he doesn't get there is if this game blows out, if he gets injured, or if he gets in foul trouble. Other than that, I think if he gets his close to 40 minutes, I think if this game stays close, I think he's going to crush the salary. So he is the ultimate chalk. I'm eating the chalk with him. I don't see a reason to fade him at that price point. So love CJ. He's my favorite play of the day. Carmelo, I actually like a good amount of 5.3. He shot about 1 of 15 last game, still about 27 fantasy points. He's going to have to do a lot more offensively with no Lillard. Again, Lillard being out is just huge for this offense. And the good thing with Portland is they run a tight rotation. The starters are going to get big minutes in a really good matchup. So I am all about loading up on Portland. I think you play at least 2 Portland starters, maybe 3. So yeah, that's the way I would go. I really like Melo at that price. I prefer CJ to Melo, but I like Melo a lot. And then Whiteside is a guy I have interest in at 9.2. His role won't really change, but in that last match against the Pelicans, it blew out. In 27 minutes and 3 quarters, he had 41 fantasy points. So he was on pace to absolutely crush. The concern is just the price, right? 9.2. So I think he's more of a GPP play right now. Like if I was going to play cash games and only play 2 guys in Portland, it would be CJ and Melo, without a doubt. And then Simons. Like those would be my cash game plays, those 3. CJ, Melo, and Simons. Whiteside is a guy I have interest. I like his upside. I think just because of his price, though, he's more of a GPP play. Trevor Ariza is certainly doable as well. His role won't necessarily change either, but he's the guy that can, get hot behind the 3-point line. Again, really good matchup. He's going to play big minutes, so I'm perfectly fine with Ariza. I would just prefer Melo at a similar price because Melo is a much better offensive player. Now, there's certainly a chance Ariza could outscore Melo, right? Melo, is kind of scoring dependent, but Ariza is definitely doable as well if you want to get off of Melo. Whoever starts with Simons or Trent Jr., if Simons starts, I think he'd be one of the top value plays at 3.5. Now, the concern with him he is pretty scoring dependent, and he's going to be really chalky too. So like I said, if you want to pivot off of him, you could go Ntilikina, as gross as that sounds. You could go Royce O'Neal. Ugh. Again, pretty gross, but those are viable pivots at a similar price. I think if Simons plays, though, I would play him at that price point. Again, the concern is scoring dependent, but if he gets 30 minutes, starts at point guard against the Pelicans, I think he's one of the better value plays of the day, if not probably the best value play. Gary Trent Jr. is also in play. Whoever starts between the two, I don't know if I would say that. Like if Gary Trent Jr. starts, I still think I would slightly prefer Simons for like $1,000 cheaper, but Trent Jr. is viable. The concern here is, again, he is very, very scoring dependent. Kind of up and down, right? 31, 37, and then 9 and 4 fantasy points. So if he's not knocking down his shots, he's going to hurt you. That's why if I was going to play one of these cheap scoring dependent guards, I would just prefer the cheaper option. Now, obviously, ownership is reflecting that, right? Simon's going to be super, super popular. But yeah, all in all here, I think you play at least 2 Blazers, probably 3. The 3 for cash games, CJ, Melo, and Anthony Simons would be the guys I would play in cash games. Ariza is viable too, and Whiteside for GPPs I like a good amount. That really does it. This one will be quick to wrap it up. Memphis Lakers. On the Memphis side, I have absolutely no interest here. If you had to make me play one guy here, it would be Jonas Valanciunas. He got limited to only 20 minutes. The concern is just the minutes are always up and down with him. If he gets extended, if he gets 30, I think he could get you there. There's huge blowout risk, though. It's a back-to-back for Memphis, so he would be the one guy I would consider, I guess, but everything else is... Well, I guess DeAnthony Melton is viable, too. He had a big game. I feel like it is kind of chasing. He had 41 in 23 minutes. More of an outlier, right? I don't think we're going to get 40 again from DeAnthony Melton, but if he's going to get around 25 or so minutes, I think he actually is a solid value play. So I shouldn't say I have no interest in Memphis. I would say I think Melton probably being my favorite value or my favorite play here in Memphis, and then JV. On the Lakers side, AD and LeBron, more just contrarian options. I don't think I get there for cash games because the blowout risk is real. Both their salaries are appealing, and if this game stays close, I think one or both could definitely get you there. Also have a little bit of interest in the centers. Memphis runs big. Dwight Howard has played 25 and 30 minutes the last 2 games. Also, JaVale McGee is almost mid-price. So, he's probably going to get 15 minutes. He's the guy that can get you 20 plus in that time. So I think McGee is actually an okay value play at almost mid-price. Don't mind Dwight either. So those 2 centers I have a little bit of interest in. And then the 2 guys at the top, more contrarian GBP plays. All right, that basically does it for the game-by-game breakdown. Let me refresh one more time, and then I'll give you guys my core cash game plays. I think by listening to this whole live stream, you kind of know where I'm going. But let's start with it. Let's see, which 4 do I want to go with? I guess we'll go with someone outside of those 2 games with Ibaka. Again, he is just too cheap in my opinion. I love him at that price, especially with Ayton playing. 6.5K is just too cheap. Let's see, what else do I want to give you guys? CJ, I know he's going to be the ultimate chalk, but I don't see myself getting away from him at that price. So love CJ. I think you play him and move on. Let's see, what else? We'll go Brandon Ingram on the opposite side. Love him at that price. Again, you can pivot off of him. He's going to be the highest owned guy, but that price point is too cheap in this type of matchup. So really like Ingram. Lastly, I think we go with one of the Boston guys. Again, I think all 4 are certainly viable. I don't really think one stands out more than the other. If you're going to make me just pick one Boston guy, I'm going to go with Jaylen Brown for his price at 5.9. So there it is. There's the cash game core. You have 6K remaining. You guys can kind of go from there. So hopefully that helps. Again, last night was really, really good. So hopefully we keep it going for tonight. We got about 10 minutes until lock. So let me refresh this one more time, and then we can get to questions. Really quick, though, if you guys enjoy the live streams, the YouTube videos, it's all free content. So if you take 2 seconds out of your day, hit that like button. It really helps me out, and I'm able to provide this free content for you guys. It's a lot of work for sure, but I love doing it. So let's get to it. Let's get to some questions here. Cash play center, it's Ibaka. Let's see. It does feel like a Boston night. I really like Boston. Smart, Beasley, Ingram, Hernan Gomez, Ibaka, Brown, Michael Porter Jr., and Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. I'm not as high on just because I don't know what his minutes are going to be like coming back from injury. Fading CJ, playing Smart over him. Yeah, that's a very, very bold move. We'll see if that pays off for you. If I was, again, you guys know I'm a single entry player. I only make one lineup. If I was making 150 lineups tonight, I think I would play CJ in 150, 150. So that's a really bold move, fading CJ. Now, sure, there is probably, a 1 to 2% chance he gets injured or gets in foul trouble or the game, or, I guess there's a better chance the game blows out. But, yeah, let's see. Luka, CJ, James Ennis, Reed, Ibaka, Smart, Ingram, and Warren. James Ennis. I don't really think we have to go there. He's at min price. Yeah, I don't think we have to do that. I don't think I would play him. Who else do you have in there? Reed, Ibaka, Smart, Ingram, Warren. Warren, yeah, not as high in him, but everyone else is fine. Everyone hit that like button, boys. Y'all are cheap. Hey, appreciate that, Mike. James Johnson or Naz? I think I go Naz. It's close. I just said with him starting, he probably gets over 20 minutes. Now, again, I voiced my concerns with him. He is a guy that does get in foul trouble. So if you're going for safety with those cheap value plays from Minnesota, I think it would be Hernan Gomez and Beasley. If you're just going for safety, now Naz Reid is a guy that does have upside. Again, the concern is he is in foul trouble a lot. Ibaka and Garland or Zion and Ntilikina in a GPP. I'll go Zion and Ntilikina. Let's see, I liked $4,500 utility. Let's see. It's probably going to be, is it Naz Reid or James Johnson? I think they're both priced at that range. What is it? 4,500. Okay, so yeah, I would go Naz Reid probably. Naz Reid or Trevor Ariza. You could always take a shot on Dwight Howard too. He's been getting more minutes. Again, Memphis runs big, so those would be the three guys I would consider. I think of those three, Ariza is probably the safest option just because he's going to get 35 or so minutes. We know the matchup's really good. So if you're going for safety, maybe it is Ariza. If you're going for upside, it's probably Naz Reid or Dwight Howard there. Let's see, core plays. Yep, just gave him AD, Whiteside, or Beal cash. For cash games, I know you asked me Whiteside or Beal. It would probably be one of those two. I don't think either are cash game viable. I don't, but if you're going to make me choose, give me Whiteside. What's your fave GPP play? My fave GPP play is, let's see. That's a good question. So I'll get away from the chalk. I'm not going to give you, the Pelicans or Blazers or Minnesota guys or Boston guys. I'll go Luka for his price. Yeah, I like Luka for GPPs at 10.6. I know it's not really the best matchup, but I think he probably gets around 35 or so minutes. Let's see, Tatum, Ingles, or DeRozan and Smart. I'll take Tatum and Ingles there. Brown or Melo? I'm playing both, so that's a tough one to answer. I'll go Brown over Melo there. How do you feel about Tice? I think I like Tice, but I think I like Hernan Gomez more. I think I like Naz Reid more. Slightly. It's close, but so yeah, I'm fine with Tice. I just think I slightly prefer the guys in the opposite side of the ball. What are your top 3 guards and top 3 forwards and top 2 centers? Don't really know if I can give all that because that would kind of give away my whole lineup. But yeah, again, I think if I'm playing cash games, I think it's Ibaka, it's the Boston guys, it's Ibaka, Boston, Minnesota, and New Orleans and Portland. That's the way I would go. And Donovan Mitchell too. Like you can conclude Donovan Mitchell. I think he's a really solid play at that price. I'm not playing him, but I am pretty scared of fading Donovan Mitchell under 7K. Hernan Gomez or Melo for cash. I would go Carmelo there. Is Ibaka a priority? I think so. I like him a lot there. Any type of interest in Drummond at all? Yeah, of course there is. It's just I have no idea what the minutes are going to be like. So he's more of just a dart throw GPP play. He could play 20, low 20s, or he could play 35. I would not be surprised at either. I just have no idea what the minutes are going to be like. Yeah, Suns will surprise and keep it competitive. Yeah, I mean there definitely is some blowout risk there with the Suns and Raptors games. James or Luka for payups. I think I would go Luka there, just because I really think the Lakers blow out Memphis. Simons, Whiteside, Hernan Gomez, Beasley with a core for single GPP. Perfectly fine with me. Jordan Clarkson worth a look. Yeah, I don't think he's going to keep up the level of production he's been playing at, though. He has been shooting the ball really, really good. 12 of 19, 10 of 17, 8 of 12. So sure, he's worth a look. I think he probably gets around 30 minutes. He's viable. I think I'd rather pass and let others chase it. Let's see. I have Lonzo, McCollum, Tatum, Ingram, Ibaka, Brown, Ingles, and Ish Smith. I don't see an issue with that. Yeah, Ish Smith is a viable, cheap option too. Ingles fine as well for cash. Simons and Hayward already have 3 Celtics, or Schroeder and Naz Reid. I'll go Simons and Hayward there. Beal or AD? I think it's probably Beal for me. Here's my single entry GPP DK. Tyus, no one owns. Jones, very true. Hey, you hit the jackpot there with D'Anthony Melton last game though. Smart, Tatum, Zion, Ibaka, Drew, Naz, and Christian James McCollum. Really like that. Again, you're playing a lot of the higher owned guys, but you're getting contrarian with Tyus Jones. And if Tyus Jones gets you, what is his price at? Where's Memphis? He's at 3.3. He probably gets close to 20 minutes, and he is a guy that does have upside. So I'm fine taking a shot on him as a cheap option. Yeah, I like that a good amount. Let's see, Cash. Thanks for the shout out, DK. Of course, man. You won big yesterday, so I got to shout it out. Let's see, Fred VanVleet or Holiday. That's a tough one. I'll go Drew Holiday, but it's close. AD and Naz or Beal and Wancho. I think it's probably Beal and Wancho for me. Let's see, Mitchell, Smart, DeMar DeRozan, Naz, Ibaka, Smart, Ingram, and Brown. I like that. Let's see. Favorite center, Ibaka. Sabonis, 7.7 on FanDuel. Yeah, so he's a lot more appealing there on FanDuel. Brown or Beasley. I'll go Jaylen Brown. I do like Beasley, but I prefer Brown at a similar price. DeRozan or Oubre. Give me DeRozan there. I know it's not really the best matchup, but Phoenix is fully healthy now. So I will actually go DeRozan there. Wilt Barton game time decision. Lowry, Fleet. Okay, we knew that. Everything else, no other news. Thoughts on Whiteside instead of Ibaka? Yeah, so Whiteside would probably be my number 2 center play. I originally had both in. It's just you have to sacrifice a little bit more to get Whiteside in your lineup. I really like that mid-range, 6 to 8K range. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to get Whiteside in. That's why I think he's more of a GPP play. So if you're going GPPs, yes, Whiteside over Ibaka. If you're playing cash games, I think you play Ibaka over Whiteside. Bridges, Hashimura, Simons, and Luka to round out your core. What do you think? Rui, with everyone healthy now for the Washington Bigs, I'm not super excited about him. So don't know if I would go with him. Let's see. You said Bridges. I'm guessing that's Mikal Bridges, right? He's at 5K. He's okay, but I'm not super excited about that. So, yeah, not really high on Rui or Bridges. I like Simons and Luka though. Beasley or Clarkson. I'll go Beasley there. Gordy and Zion or Tatum and Drew. I'll go Hayward and Zion there. Any love for Terrence Davis? Not really. Appreciate everything you do, DK. Thanks, man. You like Sexton? Not really. I just much prefer other guys priced similarly to him. Favorite utility spot for 3,800 or under. Simons if he starts. How do you feel about D'Angelo Russell? Someone has to score against Boston. Yeah, like I said, I like D'Angelo Russell for GPPs. I don't think he's a cash game play, but if you're going to load up on Boston, if you're going to play more than 2 of those Boston guys, then I think it's a pretty solid idea to run it back with D'Angelo Russell because most likely if Minnesota keeps the game close, it's going to be because of a big game from D'Angelo Russell. Siakam viable? He is. I'm just not as high on him. I would prefer Ibaka on the same team for less. I think I would prefer Lowry on the same team for less. CJ, Beal, Tatum, Wancho, Ibaka, Brown, Melo, and Simons. Let's see. Yeah, that's perfectly fine with me. Again, you're getting a little bit contrarian with Beal, but I like that. Everything else looks good to me. Siakam okay and DK? He is. Siakam is fine. I don't really have an issue with Siakam. I would just probably prefer Ibaka. I probably prefer Lowry too on the same team. But yeah, that doesn't mean Siakam can't get you there at his price. Hayward, Ingram, or Brown, Zion, single entry. Give me Brown and Zion there. Talk me into CJ, LOL. Okay, CJ, Beasley, Ingram, Wancho, Ibaka, Lowry, Ariza, and Tatum. I like that. If you're making multiple lineups, you can fade CJ, right? I'm just telling you what I would do. Like, there's always a chance, like I said, something weird happens. He gets injured. He gets in foul trouble. The game blows out. He only plays 3 quarters. But Like I said, I would probably play him 100% if I was making 150 lineups. GPP line, CJ, Simons, Ingram, Hernan Gomez, Ibaka, Smart, Hayward, and D'Lo. I like that a lot. Switch Hernan Gomez, Bridges to Mello and Wacho. Hope you're right. Yeah, I like that a little bit more. I just, like I said, Rui with Mahimi playing, with Bryant playing, Mikal Bridges, the 8 and back in a tougher spot. I much prefer Mello and Wacho there to those two guys. So no, that's a cash game line. No, D'Angelo Russell's not a cash game play. So, and like I said, you can play a lot of the chalk in GPP as long as maybe you get different in like one or two spots. Like he's getting different in D'Angelo Russell. He's going to be low owned, but I really like his upside. Yeah, other than D'Lo, yeah, I mean you could argue that. Let's see, SGA, Monte Morris, or Steven Adams, Gary Harris. Don't think I get to Monte Morris. Everyone healthy there for Denver. So give me Steven Adams and Gary Harris, as gross as that sounds. Naz Reid or Ingles. It's Ingles for cash and Naz Reid for GPPs for me. Again, I voiced my concerns with Naz Reid, guys. If you're playing him, you know what you're getting into. He is a guy that does get in foul trouble a lot, but he's a pretty high point per minute guy if he stays out of foul trouble. Simon, CJ, Hayward, Ingram, Ibaka, Brown, Mello, Zion, DK, Cash. I like that a lot. Very similar to mine. Ingram projected at 13%, D'Lo projected at 10%. Brandon Ingram's only projected 13% owned. Wow. I thought he would be higher owned. I like that a lot. I would be way over the field. Again, I only play one lineup, but if I was making multiple, I would probably play, I don't know, double that at least. For GPPs, Tatum and Hayward or Zion and Ingram. That's kind of tough because they're both on the same team, so you're getting slightly negative correlation with both there. For GPPs, though, I think I go Zion and Ingram because they're going to be lower owned than Tatum and Hayward. Again, not saying you can't play. Like I said, I'm playing, let's see, how many Boston guys do I have? I have 2 Boston guys, I believe. I have 2 New Orleans guys, too. Or, yeah. Let's see. Simon, CJ, Tatum, Mello, Ibaka, Brown, Ingram, and Drew. Very, very similar to mine. Ingram, Beasley, or Ibaka, Jaylen Brown, DK. I'll go Ibaka, Jaylen Brown there. CP3, Mitchell, Ingles, Tatum, Ibaka, McCollum, Ingram, Simons, my cash game line. Not super, super high on CP3. Everything else still looks good to me. 4.4K utility spot. Let's see, 4.4. So you can't get Naz or Ariza, right? Yeah, so 4.4 utility. I think it's probably Dwight, and just hope he continues to get those 25 or so minutes. I think it would be Dwight Howard for me. Thoughts on Miles Turner. I'm ready for the XFL fire. Yeah. All right, if you guys are interested in XFL, going to have my video up later tonight. So be on the lookout for XFL. Week 2 was a huge success. Had a lot of people win big money. So, yeah, I'm super excited about XFL. DeMar DeRozan or Ingram, I would go Ingram there. Naz Reid or Gary Trent, I'll go Naz Reid. Let's see, Luka 15%, I like that. Sorry, I've missed it. A Spicy P for cash. Is that Spicy P is Pascal Siakam, right? I think he's fine. I'm not super, super excited about Siakam, though. Hey, man, Naz Reid or Hernan Gomez. It would be Hernan Gomez if you're playing a cash game format. I would be Naz Reid if you're playing GPPs. Either way, though, like I said, you know what you're getting into with Naz Reid. There is a decent chance he gets in foul trouble. There's always a chance they still could limit his minutes if he starts, right? They have James Johnson they can use. So I think Hernan Gomez, you're going for safety there. 3% ownership for Vooch and $4. I like that. Do not like Gary Trent. I think he's fine. I just think I would prefer, if I was going to play one of those min or cheaper guards for Portland, it would be Simons for $1,000 less. Both are pretty similar to me, both scoring dependent. Not saying Gary Trent's a bad play, right? He can still get over 30 if he's shooting the ball well. I would just prefer Simons. Hayward and Zion or Tatum and Drew. Give me Hayward and Zion there. Turn 15 into 180 on XFL DFS Fire. Yeah, like I said, that was you had a great line there. So let's see if we can keep it going for week 3. I have Jaylen Brown as a lock at that price, but is it worth it to take him and Tatum at his price? Is it worth it to take him and Tatum? I mean, I would probably try to get 2 Boston guys. I think that's probably ideal for a cash game format. So, yeah, Brown and Tatum, I think those two are going to be the most popular Boston guys today. Nasri going to be higher owned? No. I don't know. I think it's going to be close with him and Hernan Gomez for ownership. So that's a good question. I think they're going to be pretty similar. Would be my best guess. DeMarcus Cousins to be waived by the Lakers. Wow. Boban inactive. Again, Ntilikina, Barrett, Bullock, Randall, Gibson. All right. Oh, I can go over ownership. I forgot to do that, and then I can get out of here. So I didn't play anyone in the first game, but let's see what we got for the $40 single entry. Luka Doncic is 13%. I mean, I liked him as a GPP option. Let's see. What was Ish Smith there? Ish Smith at 6%. I'm curious what Beal's ownership is, or any of the Cleveland guys. Kevin Porter Jr. 4. Beal at 12. I like that too. I don't think I'm seeing anything else. Let's see. Lakers waiving Boogie Cousins. Damn, I know. Kind of sad. Never got to play a game for them. But, all right, I think I'm going to hop out here, guys. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's important to follow me. I will give my thoughts as we get any sort of injury news throughout the rest of the night. Also, again, if you guys are interested in XFL, I'm going to have that video up later tonight, as well as my NBA video for Saturday slate. So good luck, everyone. Hope you guys have a good Friday, and I will see you guys tomorrow.